Welcome back to From Vinyl to Streaming, Tunes Through Time with Abby and Judy. I'm Abby.
And I'm Judy.
How are you doing, Judy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
So what's new with you?
Nothing much. Had a good Memorial Day weekend. Got some sun.
You did.
And had a good time. Yeah.
We didn't get sun this time.
No, well, you could have.
We should have.
And then you turned the car around and said, I'm not coming.
Well, the car it didn't die on us. It was just doing some weird stuff. So we thought, we're not chancing it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
We didn't chance it. We played it safe and went home.
Yeah, well, they still could have, came the next day when I was leaving. But it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
I've kind of forgiven them. I don't know.
Have you?
I'm working on it. But
try a little harder.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Sorry, I have to move stuff around or I just stare at it.
Okay.
And nobody wants that. Nobody.
So what is your music, let's talk about music moments. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
Because I've got a good music moment.
I can't wait.
Actually, I might have a few, but
okay.
I don't know.
So my music moment is this weekend was the AMAs, the American Music Awards. We did not get Reputation by Taylor Swift.
Everybody thought it was coming, too.
Everyone thought it was coming. But also, what happened to the AMAs?
What happened?
It was the biggest joke of all time. There was no one cool there. Like, no one... They announced 2 awards, I think, over the 2 hours. Like,
only 2 awards?
Because no one was there. None of the headliners or none of the, big names were there because it was the AMA. Like, no one cared to go. Because, I don't know, it's no big deal or whatever. And so they only announced a couple of awards.
Weird.
I don't know, J-Lo was hosting, and it just, went very J-Lo-esque. She did a whole dance performance to a bunch of songs, other people's songs, which is weird.
Can she sing?
She didn't sing. She
I know,
just
but
danced.
can she?
No, she's never, if you listen to her music, she has never once sang. It's always someone else singing for her.
Oh, really?
Christina Milani, I think, Milani, I think is her name. She sang so many of the J-Lo songs back in the day.
Really?
And Meghan Trainor sang a lot of the newer
Meghan Trainor?
J-Lo songs. Yep. So J-Lo was never...
That's kind of embarrassing. I can't stand her anyways.
So I
heard she was kissing people.
Probably. I don't know. She's weird. So...
Or maybe that was a concert. I'm not sure why.
I don't know. But it was there after a 2-year hiatus. The AMAs haven't happened for 3 years. Or it's a 2-year hiatus. Honestly, I don't know. I think they realize no one
cares.
But the AMAs used to be cool. Like, they used to be a big deal. That's where we got the iconic Heart Wants What It Wants performance by Selena Gomez. It's where we got Lose You to Love Me by Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has had some iconic performances at the AMAs. And other things that I can't think of right now. But they've really fallen off. It was really sad this year. Like, I don't know.
Sad.
I don't know what happened. Because the AMAs are supposed to be they were fun because they're completely fan voted.
Oh, yeah.
So they were really, what do the fans like? But they also snubbed Taylor Swift so hard.
That's what I've heard.
She didn't win a single award, which is insane. And when they were presenting all of the nominees and stuff, they let the crowd cheer for all of them. But they silenced the crowd for her.
Why?
I don't know. I think they have beef with Taylor Swift.
I don't know.
Because Taylor Swift didn't come. But no one came.
Doesn't sound like it was that big of a deal.
No.
That's sad.
Yeah. But Benson Boone performed.
He always performs.
He did his little backflips. I'm trying to think. Renee Rapp performed.
Do people like Benson Boone?
So this is a really big discourse on the internet right now. Because no. People do not like Benson Boone. But for a long time, no one was really giving a reason why they didn't like Benson Boone. Now we have reasons.
Why?
But because
it's annoying?
Well, a lot of it comes down to he feels very Mormon. He feels very... Because he was.
He does?
For a long time. Yeah. He gives off, pastor... Son of the pastor energy. You know what I mean? But cosplaying... as a queer kid. You know what I mean?
Is he queer?
No.
Oh, I didn't
But
think
he does his Freddie Mercury impression things, and his glittery jumpsuits. It's a lot of people are accusing him of queer baiting, and he just really gives off like cookie cutter Mormon vibes, which is not really like the pop scene, you know?
See, and I look at him and I just think he looks stupid.
Well, the man needs a haircut so freaking bad, and he needs to shave that
mustache.
upper lip so bad.
His mustache is pretty gross.
It is so bad. It is so bad. Well, and like he comes out in these glittery jumpsuits, and then the album cover is him like shirtless, covered in dirt with the American flag behind him. Like he just has no direction, really. Like he's trying to do everything.
I think he's just not being himself.
Yeah. Yep.
He needs to be himself.
And it's coming off very inauthentic.
Yeah, I think he just comes off really gross.
Yeah.
But I don't like him. No. I don't know his music. Sorry.
He has one song that I like. Other than that, he literally drives me up a wall. I do not like Benson Boone. I'm his biggest hater. But you haven't. I have one song that I like, Benson, if you're listening. So, you know, you have a shot.
You have a shot. Why don't you just be who you are?
Yeah.
Just be who you are.
Yep.
You don't have to be a weirdo.
It seems like his PR team was like, oh, this worked for Harry Styles. This worked for Morgan Wallen. Let's do all of it and hope it sticks.
Yeah, it sticks somewhere.
And it's just not. It's just not working.
No, that's too bad.
And
I don't like him.
He needs to shave that mustache and cut his hair so gosh darn bad.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You know, he's not even that good looking because his hair's weird and he's got that mustache.
Yes. When like a year ago, because this all happened like since the Grammys on. Before the Grammys, he was a completely different person. So if we could go back to pre-Grammys, Benson Boone, I think people would like him a lot more.
I would.
Because I don't know what's going on. But
goodness. He played.
He did perform, and he sang that stupid song I hate so much. Mystical Magical.
I've never heard it.
Count your blessings.
I am. I'm counting my blessings every day that I have not heard that song.
But so my musical moment is the AMAs were a flop. Big time.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, we also have the sad news of Billy Joel.
Yes. So I'm sure all of you know we are big Billy Joel fans, and it came out this week that he is having brain problems.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what it is, but
brain tumor-esque. I don't think it's a brain tumor. I think it's a neuro thing.
Yeah, something like that.
But
so he had to cancel all his shows.
But I hope it gets better. I mean, or at least I can help fix the put it in remission or fix it or just let it go slowly, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It sounds like everyone's hopeful. Like it didn't seem very doom and gloomy. But it does sound serious. And that's really sad.
I'm really sad about it.
Because we love him so much. And he's so talented.
So good. So good.
He's so good.
Oh, he's the best.
So we're praying for Billy Joel because
come on. We love you, Billy Joel.
Yes.
We love you.
Love you so much.
Get better soon.
Yes.
So I have another one.
Yes.
Very big announcement. Very big.
Oh my goodness.
So guess who has decided to tour?
Sean Cassidy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wait, no way. Really? Are we going? Oh my gosh.
We aren't, but Dad and I are going.
Oh my gosh. No.
In Nashville. No. At the Grand Ole Opry.
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you, but I'm
he's doing he's going to do, I think, 2 other shows in Nashville over the course of time. Mm-hmm. So if he's really good, we'll go again. Okay. We'll go.
Okay.
He won't be it's not at the Grand Ole Opry, but he's at different places.
That's okay. That'll be so much fun, though.
I know.
That'll
I'm so excited.
Exciting.
So I'm going to relive my 9-year-old self.
Because he was your first concert, right?
My very, very, very first concert.
That's so exciting.
And it was good. I remember he did a really good job.
That is so exciting.
So yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. So we went, I told Dad and he got his tickets.
When is it?
September 13th.
Ooh. So come end of September, you're going to be hearing about it.
You're going to hear about Sean Cassidy. He said he wants to be out with the people more.
Good for him.
So he's touring more.
He heard us.
That's it.
That's what it was. He heard us. So you're welcome, Sean. Thank you for coming back out.
Yay.
But
I'm so excited.
Maybe come closer to Utah so that I can go.
But we could probably go to Nashville. If it's really, really good.
If it's really, really good,
I'll have to say Abby has to come see.
We have to go.
But if it's just kind of like Christopher Cross,
David Cassidy.
Or David Cassidy. It's not going to be like David Cassidy because he's not an alcoholic. But yeah.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
I know. The do run. The do run. Who knew I was ever going to go see another concert?
I know. That is
so excited. So excited. So yeah.
That is very, very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
That's
a big deal.
It is a big deal. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too.
So anyways, should we go into what we were talking about today?
Yes. So this week we thought we would kind of take, because we talked a lot about like very specific music. We thought we'd take a little step back, look at things in a more general sense.
Yeah.
And kind of talk about 80s music as a whole. Because obviously we talk about a lot of 80s music on this podcast because it's something we both love.
Yes.
A lot.
But let's face it, probably the best music ever written.
Best decade of music, sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So.
And it was a very wide range of music. Like, there's just a lot to talk about.
Huge. It was a huge range of music.
Like, if you look at music from 80 to 89, that's completely different.
So
we have a lot to say.
Let's talk about it. So 1980, when it started, we were kind of in this weird place in music. We just got rid of disco, but we were still kind of disco-y.
Yeah, there were
remnants. A little like Donna Summers, and there was still a little remnants of disco. And nobody wanted to be disco, really. So it was trying to find itself.
Yeah.
That's when we got like Christopher Cross doing like authors. Yeah, author's theme, and that might have been 70s, late 70s. But you were starting to get that kind of music, like Christopher Cross. Trying to think who else was there in the 1980s. I think like Air Supply. You were starting to get a little Air Supply. Probably like John Cougar.
There you go.
Kind of. So it started just changing.
Yeah.
We're starting to get synthesizers. We were starting to get the funky hair, either long hair, funky hair. And
yeah, that's one thing that in my little research that I did, it talked about like technological innovation and the rise of the synth pop, the synthesizer. You got people like Depeche Mode,
Howard Jones,
New Order, Eurythmics, and Aha. Which I feel like that is a very clear distinction from the 70s, where 70s was very like instruments.
It was very instruments.
Like pure instruments.
Yes.
Where it moved a lot more to the electronic noise.
Electronic noise, yeah. And you're right, it did. It started moving into there. That's when we started. 1981 was when we got MTV.
Yes, we did.
Which was a very big deal.
Yes, that was number 2 of my
so
research.
We started doing MTV, and MTV changed music because you could see it like before, which kind of hurt some people, like Christopher Cross. You didn't really know what they looked like. You heard them on the radio. Sometimes you'd see pictures of them. You had the midnight special in the 70s that you could kind of see them, but you had to stay up till midnight.
Yeah.
So you were starting to get this like image. I think that's kind of what happened to the 80s too. You got a lot of image.
Yeah.
So people were doing the funky hair, like the Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
Or you had the big hair bands. But, like I think 81 was when we got Journey's Escape album.
An incredible album.
Probably the best album ever.
So good.
I'm going to say. I'm just going to put it out there. Okay. I think the best album ever written.
Okay.
And sung by Stu Perry.
Incredible.
Because it was great. Like, that was kind of different music.
Yeah.
Like, it was starting to change. Like, you had kind of like Styx and Boston and all that in the 70s. And Journey started in the 70s too, late 70s. But Journey in the 70s versus Escape was totally different.
Yeah.
It was a different kind of sound. You had more piano. We got Jonathan Cain came with that album.
Oh, okay.
And so it just started changing. It wasn't just all about playing your guitar. It, like Journey especially, it was all about the guitar almost because Neil Schon was so good at it. And so like the music kind of just flowed with it. But this time, all of a sudden, the vocals were there, the music. So I think that's kind of what you were starting to get.
Yeah.
So you saw that on MTV. you started seeing just different things. Like the first song ever on MTV was Video Killed the Radio Star. Mm-hmm. And that was a weird video, kind of. And you just started getting all this weird stuff. And then people were trying to, like, make their music. Almost sometimes, like, the video went step with the words to the music. And then they kind of started changing them. So it was a little more abstract. Yeah. So the words kind of took over. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So MTV just really hit big. Yeah. And it was all about music back then. 100%. So what else did it say?
In my notes, I have that, like, artists had to cultivate a visual brand. Like, it wasn't just about the music anymore. It was about the visual.
Visual, yeah.
And it became central promotional tool, giving rise to visually oriented stars like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince. It says Michael Jackson's Thriller set the standard for music video production, because that was obviously
the song,
Thriller? The video, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you remember, I don't know, people remember, but Michael Jackson's Billie Jean was huge. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool because where he'd step, it would light up. Mm-hmm. And like it just like there was a cat and everything. Like it would just kind of light up in certain areas, but it didn't really have like a story behind it. It was just visually beautiful kind of, or fun. Yeah. Because it was like Michael Jackson. Yeah. Whereas like his, what's the other song on there? That was really big. Not Thriller, but the other one. Beat It. Yeah. Beat It kind of had not really a story, but you had the gangs. Yeah. They were like dancing. Mm-hmm. So it was like a dancing gang. Yeah. And that was cool. But then when Thriller came out, and I do remember I watched the premiere of Thriller. Wow. That was something
so cool.
Like no one ever seen anything like that. They had the
dance,
the zombie dance. Mm-hmm. They had a story in it. You had it all in one music video. Yeah. So it was very, very, very interesting. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened. You had to be interested in the music video, kind of. Like you were saying, Madonna always had really good videos. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a big Madonna fan, and still am not, but she knew how to do videos. And that made her very popular. Yeah. That did make her very popular.
Yeah. I feel like MTV kind of, like, led the way for perform or for artists to become performers, kind of thing. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, just because before it didn't really matter what they looked like or what they were doing. As long as they sang the song, that's really all that mattered.
You're right, because like you would think about like any band, they would be up on the stage playing their guitars and singing. There wasn't much performance. Where now,
or you look at Michael Jackson. Yeah, you know, like right post Thriller, that like the Thriller era or whatever, like. Those are completely different. Even like Michael Jackson in Off the Wall.
Off the Wall, yeah.
So Thriller. Completely different performers. Like
way different, yeah.
And I feel like having that visual medium from MTV is kind of what led the way.
I would agree.
For what it is now. And I mean, now music videos are kind of dying, which I think is so sad. I love music videos. But they are making a little bit of a comeback right now, I will say. They're making a little bit of a comeback. A little bit. But I think because there is just so much visual media now that they're not as important.
Yes, but I would agree.
It's cool to see kind of where it originated, which is MTV.
Yes, and it was just really fun because before MTV, you really didn't see your performers perform hardly at all. I mean, every once in a while, like on an award show, they would show them. Or just something. It was just very rare. Or on that Saturday morning bandstand. They would perform quite a bit, but
how long was Ed Sullivan on the TV for?
Yeah, I think that ended in the 70s. It was like early 60s.
Okay, so there was a time between.
Yeah, so Ed Sullivan. So in like the early 70s, I think it was. So there was that time, and you did have the performers, but they would really just get up there and sing. It just wasn't singing anything. Yeah, like there wasn't the production that became MTV. Yeah. So you had all that. I think since we could see it, and then all of a sudden we got the headphones to the Walkmans, which changed everything.
Music on the go.
It was music. I mean, they were little. I mean, before that you had the big boombox, and boombox in the 80s too, to a point. But once you could have the Walkman,
game changer.
You could listen to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just really cool, the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think of like the Eurythmics. Like I remember seeing the Eurythmics for the first time, and she had that red hair. And then she was kind of dressed like a man, almost just really plain. And she just kind of sang, but it was like almost just with her face, kind of. Like, it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
And I don't even like her, but I remember that video. It was very, very, like, Sweet Dreams. That's what I'm talking about, Sweet Dreams. It was very, it was played all the time on MTV. Like, almost every other hour it was on. But
I feel like that, like, when you think about 80s music, like you were saying, like, with the red hair, like, you can picture 80s music, you know what I mean?
Yes, you can picture
which
it.
Is not something we had before. Like, you think of AC/DC, you think of the drummer in his little schoolboy outfit, you think of the long hair, like, you can picture them. Or even, like, Def Leppard with the long blonde hair, and he was never wearing a shirt. Like, these bands you can picture, or Steve Perry, is that his name?
From Journey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I just blanked. Steve Perry with his, like, long hair from the Open Arms music video.
Yes.
Like, I feel like there's...
He would do a specific dance, too, that you'd always think
like,
of.
there's such, like, visual snapshots of artists that I feel like...
Well, like the Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls, the hair.
Like, that's just kind of like when you, like, watch a TV show or a movie about the 80s, there will be a Flock of Seagull reference because everybody knows what the Flock of Seagull was. And you can just picture it.
Yeah.
And I don't even care how old you are. You know the Flock of Seagulls. I mean, if you watch Friends, you know the Flock of Seagull.
If you watch The Wedding Singer.
The Wedding Singer, you know the Flock of Seagulls. It was just in your face, kind of. Like, all of a sudden, it was in your face. Yeah. And it was just cool.
Yeah, and, like, more than any other decade, I think because this was such a new thing and they could do whatever they wanted, and this had never been done before, like, everyone did something. And
they did something
and
big.
It was so iconic.
Yes, I think of, like, Duran Duran doing, Rio. And they're on that boat. And they're all singing on this sailboat. And they're just looking really cool. But then, like, they started wearing makeup. Like, that was a big thing for men to wear glamour makeup. It was like glamour makeup. And it looked cool.
Yeah.
Like, their hair was cool. Their makeup was cool. They were singing cool. And they were in exotic places for their...
doing cool things.
Yes. That was fun.
Like, 80s is such a visual.
It is a visual.
Of music.
Yeah, and especially the first part of 80s. I think up to 85, 86, music was spectacular. I don't think you could go wrong. Like, an artist that was popular
was great. Yeah.
They were amazing. And the songs were amazing, and it was fun. And then after that, it started changing.
It got a lot more grungy.
You got rap coming in. And
yeah, it was funny.
That destroys everything. I'm just kidding.
At the AMAs, Rod Stewart was, like, honored. It was like the Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that. And so they had Rod Stewart there, and they were showing a bunch of videos from the 80s. And I was like, I am not even a Rod Stewart fan, but I know these things. Like, I have seen this before, and I know that is Rod Stewart kind of thing. Like, it's just...
Yes.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. Well, you think about it, like, Van Halen's Jump. Yeah. They were in a plain studio. They were dressed kind of bright colored. And all you had was David Lee Roth jumping off something. And you had Eddie Van Halen with his guitar going for it. You never had that before. Yeah. And it just worked. Yeah. And it was fun. It was really fun to watch. Yeah. Everything was bright. Everything was cheerful. That's why. But then we could copy it. Yeah. Like, that was one of the cool things. Like, I was in high school in the 80s. And I didn't copy, except for the
popped collar.
I did do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's so cool.
I popped the collar. But I wasn't cool. I wasn't a cool kid in high school, so I wasn't that cool. Like, if I could wear 80s clothes now.
You would slay.
I would slay. Except for I don't think I would do the belt thing. Because they used to have, like, these button-down shirts that were really floral-y while you wore these bright pink, like, capri pants and stuff. And then you put a belt, this big old belt across your stomach. Yep. Not on a pants, not to keep your pants up.
No. Just to add some interest.
Yes, but I did have good hair.
You did have good hair.
Well, I didn't have good hair, but I had 80s hair where
Yeah,
it
you
was
did.
just permy. I could blow dry my hair straight up. It looked really good too. I
Pushed
thought.
over.
Yes, I thought it
Very
looked really
cool.
good.
Yes.
And I could tease it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get it really, really high. But see, we didn't know that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you got a lot more diversity of like idols, kind of, because I mean, obviously, like an Elvis Presley was a fashion icon.
He was,
you know, or like even the Beatles to a certain extent.
Yes, because that's when you start getting longer hair on guys.
Yes, but I mean, in the 80s, you had Madonna, you had, you know,
Madonna's. I mean, she
the
was
hair bands.
You
had even like Cyndi Lauper,
yeah,
Pat Benatar, like all of these people who shared similarities definitely in their style, but they were all distinctly different.
And it was kind of fun because like you were kind of like maybe a preppy girl, and that's where you'd have the collars up. Like sometimes you'd wear two collar like polo shirts.
Oh my goodness!
And you'd layer them. That looked really good.
That's crazy.
You know, denim jackets. Your hair was perfect.
Yep.
You looked really pretty and cute. Like you were cute.
Yeah.
You were the cute girls.
Yep.
And then you had the girls that kind of try to do like a Cyndi Lauper where they'd shave the one side and they were a little more on the wild side, kind of like a little, you know, their parents didn't care as much as the ones that didn't like that. Because they let her shave their heads. Like
I would never.
I would never let you.
But to each their own.
I would never let you do that.
Yes, and I would be thinking.
And then,
if I did, I would be upset.
And then you had the ones that were trying to be like, what's her name? Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, had the dark eyeliner. She still kind of had cooler hair, but she looked tough and mean. And you had those type of girls too.
But I think you had a lot more diversity of fashion.
At fashion, yeah. You had I'm trying to think what boys would wear. That like if they were trying to copy.
I'm sure you had like a George Michael copy.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
Where
they
were little
like George Michael.
Little I don't know if preppy is the right word, but a more well-dressed man.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
And that was really cool. You got the swatches.
Yes.
All down your arm. Should have worn mine.
You should have worn your swatch.
Yes. I mean, you couldn't just wear one watch. You had to have two watches. But I'm sure that became like something from MTV. Because Madonna would always wear a lot of jewelry and stuff like that. So.
But like the Flock Siegel's haircut. Like even.
Well, even like if it was not really Flock Siegel, they had this like where it would kind of come smooth out and kind of have a little bit of like pointy out and stuff. That was kind of cool too.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
Men decided they could wear pink in the 80s.
Yes. And eyeliner.
And anything. Yes. Eyeshadow. I mean, as long as you look glam, you had to have the cheek thing,
the bone structure.
Yes. So it was cool. Yeah. It was fun. It was fun music.
Yeah.
A lot of fun music. So what was your third thing?
Okay, so my next one was genre diversity and cross-pollination. You got a lot more 80s were marked with genre fluidity and experimentation, which led to the evolution and emergence of multiple influential genres. Pop and dance music, defined by artists like Madonna, Whitney Houston, Cyndi Lauper, emphasized accessibility and mass appeal. Rock and arena rock. Bands like Bon Jovi, U2, Guns N' Roses. They dominated stadiums with anthemic songs. Anthems. Anyways, hip-hop and rap, though still underground early in the decade, acts like Run DMC, LL Cool J, and Public Enemy brought hip-hop to the mainstream in the 80s.
They did.
Heavy metal and glam metal, so Metallica, Motley Crue, those kind of started rising. And then new wave and post-punk, bands like The Cure, Talking Heads, The Smiths, all of those came in that time.
It's true.
Like there was just so much
going on. So much
music and so much different kind of music.
Where
I feel like before that, it was a lot of the same.
Yeah, like you were saying, like Cyndi Lauper. When I think of Cyndi Lauper, I think of her videos where she's like, they're just dancing, but they're moving and dancing, and everybody was moving and dancing and having lots of fun. And You never got that before. And it was like fun, happy,
Just
girls
silly,
just
kind of
want to
fun
have
music,
fun
yeah.
kind of music. And it was really cool, I thought.
But it was cool you were able to get so many different genres of music. Because, I mean, before you had folk, jazz, disco in the 70s. Yeah. That's about it. And then, because, I mean, pop music really wasn't what it is now back in those days. Because you didn't have the electronics to make pop music like it is now.
Talk about pop music. Talk about. Yeah, it was a very fun time. It was very fun because you had some folk singers. I mean, you still had James Taylor around a little bit, but not really. Like John Denver wasn't very popular at that point. Even the Bee Gees were kind of having a little problem back then of trying to find their place again because they had such a big place in the 70s. Yeah. So you just didn't really have so many singer-songwriters at that point either. Yeah. But it was really cool. It was cool because, like, you got Aerosmith and Run DMC singing a song together. Like, it was...
And it was great.
It was really fun.
Like, they did a great job. Yeah.
Music was just fun. It wasn't really political except for U2. They seemed to always... And The Clash, I guess they were supposed to be political. But, yeah, like, you got punk music. Punk music came out in the 80s.
And I love a good punk music.
Like I think more commercialized punk music, not the kind of punk music that punk rockers would really think. Yeah. It got a little more...
Not 90s punk.
Yeah, it was 80s punk where it was commercialized a little bit. I think 70s punk is where it was kind of really crazy with the mohawks and stuff. And nobody wanted to be famous. They just wanted to sing their music. Yes. This one they got... They were like okay, the Clash, a little bit. Yeah. They were sellouts a little bit, but it's okay. Not gonna say anything. I liked them. Yeah, but yeah, the Mohawk seemed like it was kind of big in the 80s, I think, or was that the early 80s? Probably early 80s. And coloring our hair funky colors. Yes, we never did that before. No. You were just like your old natural hair color, unless you went blonde. But no. We saw the Eurythmics and we said, give us red hair. Give me
some of that.
No, just kidding. I did not say that. But
people did. Many people
did. But you started having pink hair, blue hair. That's kind of when it started. Yeah. It was just really fun. Yeah. It was just a fun time and good music. Yeah. I think anyone can find music that they really like from the 80s. Yeah.
Okay. A couple other things. We got our charity supergroups. We got USA for Africa with We Are the World.
We Are the Children.
Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas, which honestly might be my favorite Christmas song of all time.
It's so good.
It's so good. But you got things like that, which were cool because, again, there were so many genres and so many different people coming together in these songs.
But, like, there was a famine in Africa in, I think it was 85, Ethiopia. Was it 85 or 86?
I'm not sure.
It was in that era, that time. It was really bad. And people started caring. Yeah. And then you got all these people together. They were widely different type people. Yes. And they came together.
To raise money.
And you got George Michael singing. You got Sting singing together. Classic. It was so good. When they did that, Do They Know It's Christmas? Do They Know It's Christmas? That was just really iconic. Yeah. Like, that really took a whole new turn. Yeah. To the world.
Mm-hmm. And I think also, again, because they had this visual medium, they were able to get it out in a much bigger way.
Yeah.
Than we were able to before.
And it was so fun. It was so fun to see all these people come together.
Yeah. Like all of these icons in the same room.
Yeah. For
raising money
for a good cause. Yeah. So then they had to do USA for Africa.
Yes. We Are the World.
We Are the World. Yes. That's Steve Perry.
Classic.
Kenny Loggins singing together. Lionel Richie. And of course, Michael Jackson. Those were fun songs. It was just fun. Because you liked everyone on there. I mean, there was someone you liked. They were just on there that you couldn't wait to hear them sing. Yeah. So that was fun.
All right. A couple notable albums and artists of the time. Michael Jackson, of course. Thriller. 82, one of the best-selling albums of
Ever,
all time.
Ever, yeah.
One of just the best albums of all time, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows Thriller.
Yeah. And I feel like without MTV, it probably wouldn't. I mean, it still would have been big, I think, because Off the Wall was still big, you know?
Yeah.
But it really just catapulted him into an otherworldly level of fame.
Michael Jackson knew how to entertain.
Yes,
he knew
did.
how to perform, and he really accentuated that on the MTV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Prince is another one. Purple Rain. 84. Madonna, Like a Virgin, also 84.
Was that 84?
Yep. Says redefine the role of female pop stars. Which, I mean, I think if you ask a lot of people, female pop stars nowadays, who's one of their icons, 90% of them will say Madonna. Because Madonna really was one of the first big female pop stars.
Yes, because if you think about it, in the 70s, we had Karen Carpenter, we had Barbra Streisand. There wasn't too many women singers, to be honest, but they sang beautifully and
very
quietly, kind of gently. And then all of a sudden you had like Pat Benatar or that Alicia Ford, I think her name was. That was kind of a hard rock. All of a sudden they went into like a hard rock place. And then Madonna, she just like had these really fun songs.
And she was a performer too.
And she was a performer.
She was performing performances.
Yeah, she was
she wasn't just singing her song.
She had the backup dancers. She had it all. I would say she's the one that started the backup dancers for sure.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. And then you have like Whitney Houston, who I would compare to like Barbra Streisand and stuff. Like, but her songs were fun too. They weren't just all.
They were definitely popular.
Yeah, they were very much popular, but she could sing them.
She could
belt it.
Holy cow, she could.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of where I see her as more. Because you even think of Barbra Streisand, all her songs were quieter. They were from movies, a lot of them, and she was very talented. Yeah. But that's what you'd get, Karen Carpenter. And then all of a sudden you were having Cyndi Lauper dancing around everywhere and singing. Or Joan Jett and her hard rock music. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. It's kind of amazes me how crazy that era was.
Yeah.
With music. It was just so breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can't forget one of the most iconic videos and music of all time of the 80s.
Okay.
Mr. Roboto.
Styx. You know?
Mr. Roboto.
Styx has come around to this song, and nothing brings me more joy than when they perform it at their concerts, because they didn't for such a long time. And this song slays so hard. It does. I feel like this is one of the first music videos I ever saw. Like, it was one of the first ones you ever showed us. And it is so imprinted. What's his name? Tommy Shaw is so young in this video, and it cracks me up every single time. Incredible. It is an incredible. I just remember it was very breakthrough kind of because it was a concept video of like computers taking over the world and everything, and it was so stupid kind of. Yeah.
But cool at the same time. And, you know, you had Kilroy will be there. And it was just huge.
It was huge.
You know, and that came from like a band that would sing, Babe, I'm Leaving. You know, like really quiet songs, you know.
Yeah.
Like good songs.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden they got Mr. Roboto out of nowhere. And it was synthesizers.
Yeah.
And
it was a turn. It was a turn.
It was a huge turn. Which they didn't survive.
I was going to say, looking back on it now, I don't necessarily disagree with the members of Styx to, you know, say that's not us.
That's not us, yeah.
But Mr. Robotic is so iconic Mr. Roboto is so iconic that I can't.
I would agree, but I honestly think it kept them in the 80s.
Oh, I would agree.
I think if they didn't do that album,
they would have faded into obscurity a little sooner.
I think so.
I would agree. Because as music changes, you got to change with the music.
Yeah, and that one, I think it did.
Yeah.
It just put him on the 80s charts, let's just put it that way, where I think they would have just went away, kind of.
Well, and if you ask people from my generation, most people know that song. Like, if they're going to know a Styx song, it's going to be Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, and it's really good.
I don't know.
It is fun to watch him sing it now.
It is. It's
and,
a good time.
You know, Dennis DeYoung, bless his heart, he had the innovation that no one else
He was ahead
had.
of his time.
But
ahead of his time.
He kind of was.
Yeah.
And I could see why the other band members weren't too happy about it. And no one's going to fault them for that. They weren't visionaries like Dennis DeYoung.
No, unfortunately.
But I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of glad they got rid of them.
You know, I love Styx how it is right now.
I do too. I love Styx the way it is too. So even though they may not have gotten it back then, they get it now.
They get it now.
And it slays. It slays when they play it in their concerts.
It really does.
So yeah, that's where we got that in the 80s, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what was your next one?
Okay, the last thing I had was globalization of music. So the 80s saw Western pop and rock music reach unprecedented global audience. Aided by MTV, cassette tapes, and tours, simultaneously artists from other countries gained traction internationally. Bob Marley, and I'm going to butcher someone else's African pop, and Japan City Pop.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. They found global listeners, setting the stage for future cross-cultural celebrations. So I think there definitely was,
There was some of that, yeah. There was, what's that one guy's name that sang, he kind of had a Jamaican accent when he sang
Bob Marley?
No, not Bob Marley. It was, I shouldn't have brought it up. Now I don't know his name.
That's okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
it's all right.
Anyways, there was
But he was like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. There was a rise of that kind
rise
of Electric Avenue.
Oh, what is his name?
Avenue.
I don't know if that's Jamaican necessarily.
It felt like it was Jamaican back then.
Let me look. Electric Avenue.
I know. I just think you get Electric Avenue.
Eddie Grant?
Yeah, Eddie Grant. So you had like songs like Electric Avenue. You had Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Mm-hmm.
You have Mr. Roboto. Mm-hmm. You have Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
You have Journey singing Faithfully.
Mm-hmm.
And Def Leppard doing Photograph.
Mm-hmm.
You just had
everything. And it all worked.
Worked well.
Like there was space for everyone.
Yeah.
Because I think everything was still so new that like
if you could get a video that really stood out on MTV, you had a hit.
Yeah.
Like I really believe that's how Duran Duran became popular because of their videos. Yeah. I wonder if they didn't have MTV, if they would have been as big. Mm-hmm. Even Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Because I mean I love Def Leppard, but it's more iconic because I think of the 80s and them coming out on MTV. Like they were just so cool.
Or like Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode, yeah.
Or any of the ones like Depeche Mode.
Yeah. Or even like Howard Jones. Mm-hmm. Like he was kind of his hair and everything. It just stood out.
It was just iconic.
Yeah. There was just so many. I just think of them all like Till Tuesday. Her hair, and she had that. Oh, the tail.
The tail.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
My friend, she cut a little tail into my hair in the back.
Okay,
I felt so cool.
Yeah. This is so totally off topic, but a big topic out in the world right now is the Utah accent. And one thing that we do that I had no idea until they pointed this out is we shorten our vowels. Yeah. So instead of saying real or tail, we say real or tell.
Oh,
and you just did it, and it cracked me up.
That's how you say it, tell.
Yeah, but you said tell.
Tell?
Yeah, instead of tail.
I'm sure
we shorten our vowels. Anyways, that's so not on topic, but I just think that's so funny.
It's so
because
true.
I catch myself doing it all the time.
I know.
Now.
I have a big Utah accent.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, me too. But it's a big topic of discussion right now.
I can't say mountain.
No,
it's mountain. Mountain.
But even there, we shorten our vowels. It's not mountain, I can't even say it like mountain. But like not saying the T. Like we, even without saying the T, we still shorten the vowel. I don't know. I think it's interesting. But we're just
cool that way.
We say tell instead of tail.
Tell, yeah. I had a tell.
You did too.
I had to tell him.
And it was cool.
It was a little tiny one. I don't think I ever got it real big. I might have been able to braid it. I don't know.
But it slayed.
It slayed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Big slay.
Who would ever do those now? Do they do
I
them
don't
now?
know. The mullets are having their big moment right now. And I am so over it. Benson Boone, cut your hair.
Mullets were kind of big. I guess more 90s. Probably end of 80s.
Yeah.
90s.
I think so.
People were like, oh, we've done everything to our hair in the 80s. Let's just go to a stupid mullet.
Stupid mullet.
Well, but Def Leppard had a mullet and Joe Elliott.
I guess that's true.
So it must have been partly 80s.
Yeah, I think so. Probably mid 80s.
Mid 80s.
Because I feel like it was more like Animal.
Yeah, it was. Which was the end of the 80s. I'm trying to think.
Pyromania.
Yeah, not Pyromania.
No, what's it?
It's not
Hysteria.
Hysteria, yeah. More Hysteria for sure. Mm. For sure. But then like towards the end of the 80s, you got New Kids on the Block.
Icons.
Goodness. They had the tails. They had the little rat tails.
They really did.
Lucky them. Mm-hmm. And let me think, who else? Debbie Boone. Not Debbie Boone. Debbie Gibson.
Gibson, yes.
Remember Debbie Gibson?
Gibson.
She could play music. She wrote all her songs and played all her music and produced everything. And she was only like 16.
She's amazing. She is amazing.
She was really cute, though. Mm-hmm. I remember I wanted to look just like her.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Yeah. But it's all right. We all survived not looking like Debbie Gibson. What else was there in the 80s? The end of the 80s. End of the 80s were not as good as the first.
I would agree.
I think from 81 to 82 to 85 and a half, maybe 86 is where you got
like the best 5 years of music.
Best music ever.
Yeah.
Like literally the best music ever. Mm-hmm. You had Whitney Houston toward the end. She was good. Who else was that's when Depeche Mode, like that kind of music really started taking off. Depeche Mode. You had a little Wham. You had George Michael coming through there.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else I liked about the end of the 80s. That's when rap music was starting to take off, or like Run DMC. I didn't really like Run DMC.
Yeah.
I liked them when they sang with Aerosmith. But I did not like...
we got Bad from Michael Jackson.
Which was good, but it wasn't as good, I didn't think, as Thriller.
Paula Abdul.
Oh, yeah, we got the Paula.
Forever Your Girl, 88. U2. Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses. R.E.M.
Yeah, that's where you start getting R.E.M. The Cure. Yeah.
Yep. Run DMC, Public Enemy. N.W.A.
MC Hammer.
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown was huge. See, and I didn't really like that kind of music. I was starting to fade.
Yeah.
That's probably when I stopped watching MTV and they had to turn it into teen pregnancies.
Milli Vanilli.
Oh, my goodness. Let's just
talk. How can we not talk about Milli Vanilli?
Let's just talk about Milli Vanilli. I used to really like Milli Vanilli.
Till it came out that they were a bunch of frauds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know who I really liked at the end of the 80s was Terrence, what's his name? Terrence. He played a saxophone, I think. Terrence, look up Terrence, somebody. Terrence.
Another one is Phil Collins. Genesis broke up. Phil Collins. Terrence Martin?
No. Terrence.
What
was his name? Terrence. Oh, what is his name? Let me see. Let me look.
Okay. His name was Terrence?
Wishing Well was the song.
Oh.
Terrence Trent D'Arby. That's his name.
Terrence Trent D'Arby.
He was really good. And he was like the end of the 80s, I think.
That was 87.
87. That's when the music started changing.
Yeah.
He was good. I really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Phil Collins started becoming really popular.
Yeah.
Genesis broke up. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Janet Jackson. Tiffany.
Oh, Tiffany. I think we're alone now.
Rick Astley.
Oh, Rick Astley. Very Simon concert.
Yeah, and he literally has one song.
He has one song. We saw him when he was with New Kids on the Block, and he sang his one song.
Like 4 times.
And then he came back out and sang it again.
Yeah. And then he came out
again. And it was like a 20-minute song each time.
It was so funny. And it was incredible every single time he sang it.
Oh, he sang it like none other.
It was so
But it was pretty funny.
In Excess. Poison.
This is like the glam.
Yes. Salt and Pepper.
Oh, Salt and Pepper.
Let's see. Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
George Michael.
Yeah.
Sam. Oh, Sade. I never remember how she said this.
Sade or Sade?
Sade. Sade. I can't remember how she said it.
Anyways.
Probably the best.
Yeah. 80s was an incredible decade of music.
It really was.
A very transformative decade.
It was.
Definitely. And it's got some just absolute bangers.
It really did.
Yeah.
We had some really fun times in the 80s. 80s were the best. Yeah. I'm going to say 80s was the very, very best of the best of times.
Yeah. Off the top of your head, quick fire. What's your favorite song from the 80s?
Open Arms.
There you go.
But I can think of a lot. Like Cheap Trick had...
oh my gosh, Cheap Trick.
They had The Flame.
Yes.
They had other songs.
I Want You to Want Me.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Is that 80s or is that 70s?
I don't know.
You had the Bangles.
Yes.
Walk Like an Egyptian. Or Manic Monday. Gosh, there was so many good music.
That was 70s. So.
Okay. Yeah, but The Flame was the 80s. I remember. You had Hall & Oates at their prime pretty much then. You had, who else was just really good? You just had so many good artists.
So much good music.
Like it was just nonstop good music. The Cars, remember the Cars?
We didn't even bring up the Cars.
You know, I heard our song today.
Oh my gosh.
In the car.
Did she have the top down?
No.
Okay. She almost did our tradition without me.
And then you had, I heard the Cars were not good in concert.
Really?
Because we were always really sad we didn't go.
We never went.
And I heard it wasn't very good. I decided
that's really funny.
But I don't know because...
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So let me think.
In our minds, they're great.
Yeah.
Because we never got to see them.
But there were so many. So in yours, really quick fire. Favorite song of the 80s?
Probably Animal by Def Leppard. By Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Or like Faithfully by Journey. Something like that. But there's so many. Like so many. Beat It by Michael Jackson is such a great song. Thriller is such a great song.
All of Duran Duran was good.
Yeah, Duran Duran.
I remember just
Hungry
getting
Like a Wolf,
so sick of Duran Duran. Yeah. Hungry Like a Wolf and Rio was nonstop on MTV when you'd go into a store, on the radio. It was like nonstop until I got a point where I couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
But now I love it again.
Yeah, I
love it again.
There's just so much great music. I mean, we're big Pat Benatar fans in this house.
Pat Benatar.
Even Joan Jett has some great songs.
She does. Who was I
big AC/DC fan over here? Which I don't know. Were they more 70s?
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. You Shook Me All Night Long. I think was in the 80s. Yeah. Who else was really big? They were just all really good.
Yeah.
I just think about that time. Wham.
George Michael.
Yeah.
Our favorite.
Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Now
Icon. Oh, and Relax. Don't Do It by
I'm gonna go do it.
Who sings that? Who sang that?
I don't know.
It was I know who it is, and I can't remember their names. Yeah, look them up because.
Let's see. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. 84.
We had the shirts that said "Relax" on them.
Yep.
So fun.
It was just so iconic. Like I feel like more than any other time, it is so iconic.
And I honestly believe that it's so iconic because we had the visual and we put it into our own lives.
Yep. Like
more than any other time.
You really could adapt what you were seeing to your life.
Yeah. Like, and then we did. We changed our hair. We did our clothes, our makeup, everything was what we were seeing on MTV.
Yeah.
So we were just
soaking it up.
And I think that's why. And people were it was such a new genre that they were soaking it up. Musicians were like, oh, I got to get this out there. This, and it was just fun. Yeah. It was just so much
fun. Much creativity during that time.
So much creativity. So it was a great year. Yeah. A great decade.
Great decade. Love the 80s.
Yes. And I think 80s was just a fun time anyways. Yeah. Let's just admit it. We had Swatch watches.
What more could you ask for?
You had a Swatch watch. Polo shirts.
Exactly.
We had, what was that? Our favorite jean was Guess. Like we had Guess jeans. Gloria Vanderbilt. Gotta love the Gloria Vanderbilts.
There you go.
So, and if you had a pair of Guess jeans, which I did have one pair, you were
Fancy.
Cool. You were cool.
Very cool.
But I was in college by the time I got it. I had to pay for my own, but it's all right.
It's okay. You got them.
I got them. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And then the shoes. I mean, it went down to shoes.
Oh, yeah.
It went down to everything. The kind of socks you wore, everything. Your shoes, your jackets. Everything went down what you saw on MTV.
Yeah.
And it was just cool.
Yeah.
And so I think it just soaked into us so much.
Yeah.
And we became what we saw a little bit. And I think that's why it was so huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it lives on. Because I think like people like me tell my kids, oh, you got to watch this video. Oh, let me tell you the lore of, this song or, and
it's just fun.
It's just
just cool.
And the music was fun. And it was a great change.
Yeah. Music really became a part of pop culture.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so too.
Like it wasn't just music. Like it infiltrated
everywhere.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything and everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool.
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, we love the 80s.
Yes. We need our neon colors.
Yes. We need our plastic bracelets.
Our plastic. We need them all.
Swatches.
Our swatches. We need them all back.
Yes.
It was fun. People were happy back then.
Yeah. It was a good time.
There was no stress.
Big hair.
Big hair. I mean, you could wake up and have big hair and nobody.
Exactly.
No, we worked hard for our big hair.
Oh, I believe it.
A lot of hairspray.
I believe it.
But yeah.
But that's all we have for you this week. If you want another decade, comment down below what decade you want to hear, and we can kind of talk.
We can talk about it.
A different decade as well. But go follow us on your preferred streaming platform and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on social media. It's just From Vinyl to Streaming everywhere. And Judy has something to say.
We forgot our song.
Oh my gosh, we forgot our song review. Well,
we'll save it for next time.
We'll save it for next week. Ha ha ha. Leave you guys on edge.
Yeah. What song will we review?
I can't believe we forgot about that. That's so
I know.
Funny.
It wasn't an 80s song, so.
No, it wasn't an 80s song, which would have been a good idea. But that's it. We'll see you next week.
All right. And we forgot Thompson Twins. They were awesome, too.
Yes. Thompson Twins. Who were the other ones that were kind of like that?
Okay, yeah. There's so many good ones.
There were 3 in the Thompson
Twins.
There
was 3 in the Thompson Twins. There was the 2 guys.
What's that one band?
Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears. That's exactly what I'm thinking
of. They were awesome too. All right. Okay, we'll stop talking.
Yeah, we could keep going on.
If you had a favorite one though in the 80s, comment, because we'd like to hear who was your very favorite artist.
Yes, from
the 80s. Who was your favorite artist in the 80s?
Probably Def Leppard. Or Journey. I don't know. Or there's just so many.
Mine was probably Def Leppard.
Probably Def Leppard.
But I don't know.
I don't know. There's just so many.
Michael Jackson, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. See, there's just too many good ones.
Oh well, we got to stop now. There's so much to talk about.
But we can also deep dive into the 80s more, like specifically too.
If there's something you'd like us to deep dive into, because we can.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember it.
Yes.
And it was a long time ago.
Yes, and I love the 80s.
And you love the 80s.
I love the 80s.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.